Playing on mine.
And here we are. Welcome, everyone. The After Hours number 5. I hope you can hear us. Let us know if you can't. Yeah, that'll work. We have Lisa, Ashley, and myself. Ashley's not going to be able to be with us tonight, so we have an empty chair in honor and a microphone. If anybody wants to pop by the house and social distance and take Ashley's microphone, you're welcome to come by.
We might have some people actually come by.
Remember, you have to keep your distance. But welcome. Hi. Lisa's going to tell you how we're going to do this tonight.
Yeah, so it's been cool. We've had some feedback too on people really enjoying this platform and how it works, and then some feedback on commenting and how to kind of keep up with discussion. And I know it's been some technical challenges here and there as we keep going, but I wanted to mention too that I think Tom has updated. There used to be about a 30-second delay on us being live and then what gets to you, and we've updated it to about 4 seconds now, so it's faster. So whenever we're asking questions and we're talking about discussion and things like that, please feel free to type in your questions and discussion points. Like I have them right here on my iPad, and I'm in real time checking them, and we're responding to them. And I know sometimes it's a bit intimidating to be thinking up a thought, typing it out, and going, oh no, they're on to the next topic already, and I just had a thought. But please just post them, because as we're moving on to another thought, I'm seeing them and we'll cycle back to it. And we're incorporating it as we go, and we're definitely moving along and moving back and forward. That's the whole point of this whole thing. So don't be intimidated by that. And there's 2 ways that you can do that. You can post them here if you on YouTube if you have a Google or YouTube account, but you can also post them on Slack if you don't have a Google and YouTube account. So if you're on Slack, Tom has it on his laptop. He has Slack open. So type them there. Type in questions and responses and comments and things there too. So again, don't be afraid if you're a few seconds behind and you have a question or something you wanted to speak to and we've already moved on. Post them. We'll come back to it. It's no big deal. We like to hear what you guys have to say, and that's all part of this, is that it's interactive, and we want you to feel like you're sitting in this chair. Pretend you're sitting here, okay?
We really would like the interaction. That's
Yeah.
really great and helpful.
Yeah.
So, how many of you liked the opening video? 5 of you were here to see it.
Did anyone see it? John Kay and John Gray, say hello. Hi, guys.
So, yeah, and we're going to start talking about Sunday's message. I don't think I gave a title for it on Sunday, but I think I titled it on our podcast channel, What It's Like to Live This Side of Eden. So why are you laughing already?
Because Kathy loved it, Kath.
Good.
Thanks, Kathy.
Good. Yeah, we're going to talk about what it is like to live in the world that is broken, is shattered, is filled with decay, is winding down, and what it is in that world to say, for me to live is Christ. So Paul had 2 things that he was saying. He was saying, first of all, in this world right now, for this time, for me to live is Christ. And then he said, in the world's to come, for the future, that's going to get even better. To die is gain. So it's going to get better. So it's good now, and it's going to get better. And I guess that's the first thing we were talking about is how does future come into and weigh into now? Because I don't want to just, how did you put it to me? You said, I don't really care if tomorrow or if I'll be better by and by.
Yeah.
I want help today.
Yeah.
I want help now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And Kathy and I were talking about that actually, because her and I were relating to the fact that we're very much like, tell me how, like Jesus, and how this can be helpful to me today, right now. Whereas, as opposed to looking at it and saying, it doesn't matter about now, tell me about what's to come. Tell me about where I'm headed, because I don't really care about now. I want to know where I'm headed. I know some people feel more that way. They want to know where we're headed. I'm more like, no, I need to get through this next 5 minutes. Help me get through this next 5 minutes, right?
Yeah. And for someone to say, well, eventually this will all come together.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound really comforting to you all the time.
No.
Yeah. Kathy said the same thing.
Yeah.
She said, "No, I don't want help later." I remember growing up, we had these strange hymns that we used to sing, and one of them was, "In the sweet by and by, we will meet on that beautiful shore." And it's a kind of a sentimental thought. It's kind of cool. It is one day it'll get there. One day we'll be there. But I remember Lisa, and we've already mentioned this in one of our after hours. One of my first memories of you was you challenging me down in City Park and saying, "Are you really meaning that we can have joy for today? Is
Yes.
joy for now or is joy for later?"
Yeah.
And you said, "I know that joy's for later, but I'm not really interested in that." That's
Yeah.
what you told me. You
Exactly.
said, "So if that's really all you have for me, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
But is joy for now? Is
Yeah.
joy for today? Then I'm
Yeah.
interested." And in relation to that, the first thing that Paul has to say is, well, now is actually good. I'm in prison and it sucks, but it's actually good. Now in prison is actually good because things are happening. Things are happening. And so that's the first thing. We're not done, but that's the first thing is stuff's happening that's good. And I think about that. I don't know. I don't really have a format to go. I don't in my head for what we're going to talk about
I
tonight.
know.
But I was thinking today how impossible it would be to live in this world without Jesus. Like, I think I would just be the most miserable person. I guess I get it a little bit better all the time when Paul says, "If in this life only we have hope in Christ, we are of all men most miserable." And that's when he's talking about that we have a future hope. But he says, it's miserable. If we don't have a risen Savior, if we don't have Jesus alive and with us and helping us, if we don't have a purpose, a significance, if we don't have help today,
Mhm.
I'm not going to be satisfied. If you say, "But you know what? You can still have a cold beer every evening, and you can have coffee every morning, and you can have a beautiful family and a beautiful home." I'm not going to be happy with that because I know that it's all dust.
Yeah.
And I don't really care if you give me a little nice dust statue and say you could have this. I want something. So if I don't have Jesus, I'm miserable. And I think no wonder, I don't know why we don't have a whole lot more mental illness than we do. Because I think mentally ill people are really seeing the world sometimes for what it really is. It's depressing.
Yeah.
It's,
It's and whenever you say that, whenever you're talking about like seeing it as depressing, I always think of my most depressing state, and that was when I had my first child, and she was like a few months old or whatever, and I had thought, well, isn't this supposed to be the perfect picture? Like you have a husband, you have a baby, you live in a nice house, and I'm a stay-at-home mom, I'm doing my thing, and yeah, okay, my kid screams all day and all night, but hey, what do you do? Babies cry, right? And I remember thinking, like, hey, I'm trying to get a grip on this. I'm trying to get a grip on my life. But I just remember thinking, like, okay, like, I'm making a meals, I'm taking care of my sweet baby. Everyone kept saying to me, just like, soak up the moment, just enjoy all these sweet moments. This is life living. This is the life. Isn't this it? Just enjoy every moment that you can. I'd be like pushing her down the street in a stroller, and I'd be at a stoplight, and someone would say, "Just enjoy every moment you can." Like this is living, isn't it? And I'd be like dying inside, going like, "This is not living. This is like death to me." Like but it's not that you can't enjoy those moments. I just
yeah.
inside was like, something is wrong here. And I remember sitting and looking out my window like every morning crying. It sounds so morbid, but I just felt so depressed because I'm like, this was a really to label like just to give some backstory. This was a dark time for me of not trusting Jesus and feeling like I just want my life to be. I'm going to try really hard to make my life picket fence life, and I'm like, this is not working, and this is depressing, and this is putting me in a mental state of depression because I just can't. My life can't just be this. And I think I remember I said that to you, Tom. I called you and I said, like, if the life is just taking care of my kid and cooking dinners in a nice house and doing that, like, if this is it, like, this can't be it. Like, Jesus is either everything or he's not. And if he's not real, I'm done. Like, I'm done trying to pursue him. I'm done. If he's real, then I need to really figure this out. And you were like, okay, we'll talk tomorrow morning. Like, you're like, I'm coming over. We're gonna. And it was the start of something really real for me. But it was in that place of like, I am not mentally well in just settling for. And that's what you were saying even on Sunday, like the settling of this side of Eden, just looking at life and going, I'm just going to have my baby, live in my house, do these things. This is just going to be my God. This is going to be my life. And people patting on the back saying, just enjoy every moment. You can't. You can try.
And
I couldn't. To the full extent, I couldn't. Without Jesus, I couldn't.
yeah, I think at some point you get a look at your life and you get a look at your circumstances and you actually see it for what they actually are. Because I think for years you can just kind of live a self-deceived, an unexamined life, and you can go, yeah, things are good. Things are good, and things are looking up, and things are looking, and I'm excited about this and excited about that to come, to come, to come, and you never take stock of the reality that everything has crumbled behind you
Yeah.
and everything's crumbling ahead of you,
Yeah.
and where you're standing is crumbling too. If you don't take, you just keep running, you just keep moving,
Yeah.
just
You
keep
can.
going,
Yeah.
so you
For
don't
a long time.
stop and realize that your life is crumbling, and then you get to the edge of it, and you go, I'm just okay. I know I'm dying soon. I know I'm at the end. I did some good stuff. I'm happy. I got a nice family. That's all there is, and
Right.
I'm okay with that. I don't think I'll ever be okay with that. I don't think. I think one of the curses of knowing Jesus is once you see that, you can never live east of Eden again. You can
I
never,
know.
once you've lived in paradise, you can't live outside and be happy.
That's so true.
And so we're headed back there is a comfort to me. It's a knowledge that, but even now, I'm outside Eden, I'm living this side, and Jesus is here. Jesus is with me. He's helped me through those weed pulling days. And he's helping me through those deadly days and those virus days and those betrayal days and those, people have left me, whatever. What He's here. So it's good today. It's good. And I'm seeing people believe and I'm seeing people change and I'm seeing so it's all good. But it's still going to be better. It's not so Paul says to live is Christ. Like that's great. But to die is even more. It's better because I'm done with this and I get that. And the end of Scripture, if you go, we start in Genesis 1, we're in this garden. And we go to Revelation into the 20s, and we're back in the garden. And that's where our life is headed. We're headed back to restoration. We're headed back to everything's finished. And there's no more crumbling, no more decay. I can't wait to live there. I love being here. And right now, I love, I love my life. I love my church. I love you. I love my wife. I love this. But there's more to come. And I can't wait. I can't wait. But we were talking about how, is that really it? Are we just supposed to wait then? And draw that out a little bit more than what I said to that. But you were saying I, it doesn't help you. Like you were even mentioning that you and John are different that way.
Yeah. Like saying he's very much like he wants to know like when is Jesus coming back? Like kind of more like that way. Like when is that time coming? Like that's where he sets his sights. Even in hardship, it's like I just want to know we're going home soon. Like that's whereas I'm more like I said, like right now, I need to know right now how do I get through this? And even Karen said when we were talking about this earlier, she said, "Me too, Lisa." That she's like that too. So it's funny. I think some of us are more that way or the other. But even so, I think even during this time, like sometimes John and I are like, "When is Jesus coming? Could he come back tomorrow?" Like we kind of, you know what I mean? You kind of feel that way sometimes. Like even like we said with Paul, it's like to be with Jesus is better. But like to die and to be with him is the ultimate in some ways. But to be here and to be with people and to know Jesus, to know you, there is joy here now, and he's doing something. And he's doing something with Paul, and he's doing something with people, and that's often, and I don't know if you guys feel that too. He's doing something in our lives. Like, it's not in vain, it's not purposeless. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, there's
Is that showing up on the screen? My bedtime reminder?
I think so. Your wake up alarm is set for 3:45? Holy.
It doesn't actually work that way.
Who's getting up at 3:45? Maybe Lauren is with Grayson, but I certainly am not.
I'm never. Actually, that's coffee alarm.
To make coffee?
I'm always up before 2,
That is just.
but I have to make coffee at 3:45, so it's hot and ready when Kathy gets up.
You're a good husband.
Hear that, Kath? I'm a good husband. It's official now. It's on after hours.
That's a tack early. You mean, I think you meant to say that's a tad early? Kathy said he is.
So
Yeah.
we were just saying, though, that to take our discussion back, we were saying that we want to know. You said, when's he coming back?
Yeah.
And then you said tomorrow would be good.
Yeah.
And that's when I challenged you earlier when we were talking. I said, what if you knew it actually was tomorrow?
Yeah, this was a good question. We should ask everybody this too. I'd be curious what other people think too.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Karen,
Karen?
you said that you're with Lisa.
Yeah. Listen to this question.
So what if you absolutely knew for sure, absolute certainty, that tomorrow he was coming back? And tomorrow was the last day of this brokenness. That tomorrow it was finished, it was full. What if you knew that?
I'm going to wait for Karen's response.
You're going to wait.
Sandy says, does Tom do counseling at 2 a.m.?
Not on this side of the world, Sandy. Actually, I have. Didn't you call me once at 2 a.m.?
I did.
Yeah.
I did call you and you answered.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there you
I'm
go.
not saying people should call you at 2 a.m., but you never know. Yeah. Yeah, so the question again was,
If you knew, absolutely knew for sure, that tomorrow was the day that Jesus came back and all this was fixed and everything was done and Eden was open and paradise was yours tomorrow, what would that do to you today?
how would you feel? How
Would it
you...
change the way you feel today? Would it actually, or would you go, yeah, that's tomorrow? Do you have anything for me today?
Yeah.
Like, today sucks. Or would you go, oh, tomorrow? And in fact, wouldn't you kind of dance around your kitchen and your living room, and the next time the kids were annoying, you'd almost cry because you go, this is almost the last time you're going to annoy me. This is almost the last time. And it's kind of sweet, and I love you, and this is awesome, and you're awesome, and everything would change, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, like, I can be so impatient, and I get impatient with Kathy, and I think if I knew that tomorrow was the last day, it would be like, she can't even annoy me.
Yeah.
She can't, because life's too cool.
I know.
It's about done, and I can handle it. I can handle today. Do you get that?
You're laughing, Justin. Okay, we've got some comment. My dad, Al, he said, I would sleep like a baby.
There you go.
Yes. Karen said, I don't know that I would do anything differently, but I'd be super excited. I know. I would be that way too. Even just hearing that gets me excited. And then John Gray said, if I knew Jesus was coming back tomorrow, I don't think I'd be looking at the brand new Porsche online. I wouldn't care about anything except him. Sandy said, amen, John. And then John K said, I'd be a bit scared. What would it look like? And would he let me in?
Yeah, so I should have added that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because
Totally.
that's actually the point that we're getting to, though. Because it's not really
You were gonna say,
about because it's really about that. It's what do we believe? And what do we believe is his attitude towards us?
Because that's what you're saying changes everything.
That's what changes everything. Everything changes today if we have that certainty of tomorrow. So, let's wait just a second for the second part of the question, which is, well, then what about, will I get in? What's his attitude towards me? Let's wait on that for a second. Let's just say he's happy. He wants you. and he's full of joy, and he's coming for you, and it's tomorrow. Your present day feeling changes. The things about today, they have a different weight to them. They feel different.
Yeah.
They you and nothing externally changes. Your kids are still your kids. Your husband's still your husband. He still snores. If if Al's sleeping like a baby, maybe Charlotte's poking him and
I still
saying,
have to put an earplug in every night.
"There you go." And everything's the same, but nothing's the same
Mhm.
because it's different. I say, okay, what if it was the day after tomorrow? Well, then you're going, yeah, okay. What if I say it's 10 years? Now you're starting to feel like, oh, 10 years? Can I really, can I last that long? And it starts to peter out. Our joy starts to peter out. Because our problem is we can't see it anymore. We can't feel the imminence of it
Yeah.
anymore. And we have no idea. We have no idea if it's going to be in our lifetime. I mean, Christians have been looking for this for 2,000 years,
Yeah.
right? So we have
Yeah.
no idea. And so that it doesn't help us. It's kind of like, because we don't actually believe it. We don't actually believe in that same, I stake my life on it. I
Yeah.
stake what my life means on it. And if we actually believed 10 years or 100 years from now the way we believe it tomorrow, it would change today. So that's why it's for today. But the second part of the question is really important, which is, well, what's his attitude? Because in Scripture, the analogy is that he's your bridegroom. He married you,
Yeah.
and then he said, Lisa, I just have to go and build a home for us, which is what they did, right? That was their culture.
Yep.
So they would marry you, and then they would go and build a house, build an addition, usually on mom and dad's house, and and then come back. And usually that would be the same day because they've done a lot, but it could be a few days, and it sucks. But he's coming back. But your attitude, if it's been a while, is like, does he still care about me? Like, we're married, and he's coming, but has he found somebody else? Has he had second thoughts? Is he regretting it?
Is it diluted?
Is he forgetting about? Siri wants to answer the question. I have no idea. Um, is it about independence? Like,
Yeah.
does he regret it? Has he heard? Has he learned more about you and thought, "What did I do? I married her. I married him." That's what we have to believe that he's spending every moment he's away thinking about us. Like, not us for Paul, he says, for me to live is Christ.
Yeah.
But the author of Hebrews says, he ever lives making intercession for us. It's a two-way thing. He's always thinking about us. He can't wait for us. He's singing and laughing and loving and dancing around his kitchen, as it were, because he's soon going to be reunited with you, with me.
Mhm.
We have to believe that. If we knew that, then it's kind of like, yeah, it's coming. He's coming. He's into me. There's no way he stayed away. He is totally into me. He's not going to give up on me. There's no way. He's coming. Does that help yet?
And it doesn't change the number of days. It doesn't change the time. It doesn't change. And you're saying that sometimes as time goes on, we struggle with trusting and believing
Yeah.
that
That's the parable of the wise and foolish virgins, right? Because it's
right.
like he's been so delayed and we can't wait any longer. And then the question comes, like, it's just been so long.
Mhm.
Surely he must have found someone else. He must not
Right.
be coming. And whatever the length of time is, it's not a problem of his delight or his desire. Peter tells us that the long suffering of God is the repentance of the world. For that's where the verse is, with God a day is like 1,000 years and 1,000 years as a day. But he is patient towards us, long suffering, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to eternal life. The reason it's taking so long is because he's not done saving the world yet. He's not done saving people yet, which is great because 50 years ago he hadn't been saving me yet.
Right.
And if he'd come back 50 years earlier,
Mhm.
I'd have missed out.
Yeah.
I'm talking too much, Lisa.
No, but and I liked how even what we were talking about before. I said it almost felt a little bit like, even with this whole COVID stuff, I felt a little bit like it's, if somebody could say to me, and maybe you guys will relate to this, I'll find myself saying to neighbors and stuff, some of the hardest times for me right now are going, if someone said to me, okay, on May 12th or May 22nd or something, right? Everything's going to be lifted, stay at home orders off, all this stuff will change. So just endure for a few more weeks or whatever. And I had an end date. It's almost like, okay, I'm gonna hunker down. I can do this. Yes, I'm gonna do all these things. I'm gonna plan these crafts. I'm gonna do all this stuff. I can do this. But for me, sometimes the hard part is this lingering. We don't know when it's gonna end. Is it gonna be this long? Is it not? It's this kind of like, that's hard. And I was kind of thinking about that when we were talking about this, of like, what if he came tomorrow? What if he came? But then it was interesting because it's like that excitement of tomorrow. But then you said, what if, okay, replace the word tomorrow with soon, right? Because there's a feeling too of like, it's soon. We don't know exactly when, but soon. There's that idea that excitement and that anticipation can remain, that joy, that excitement can remain. It's soon. But like you said, that the constant there is the thing that's always the same is his love. Yeah. Regardless of whether it's tomorrow or 10 days or 2 years or whatever it's going to be.
And if we believe it,
it's the love. Yeah.
That changes things.
Yeah.
And then and on top of that, layer in on top of that, the reason for the delay is saving souls. So it's kind of like COVID.
Yes.
Because today everybody I talk to is just like, can't we be done? Yeah. Like I'm ready. I'm ready to get back to being able to hug people. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to get back to being able to hang out closely with a larger circle. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of good things that are happening today. There are a lot of really good things and good consequences of COVID, but it also sucks. So, but if we know, the thing that helps us is if we're thinking, but social distancing, not going to work, seeing my life crash is saving tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of lives. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing that's hard for us is we actually don't know what those numbers are and we can't figure all that out. But the idea that we're saving life, then it's like, okay, I can hang on a little longer. We can do this longer if it means lives are being saved. That's in our head. But Jesus says, no, there's an end date, and I am into it, and I am into bringing it to you as soon as I can. I just have to save a few more lives or a billion more lives before we get there. And you go, okay, I'm for that. As long as you're still for me, Jesus, I'm still for you. Yeah. Nothing's changed. And paradise is waiting. And Eden waits. We're not stuck here. We're not trapped. But the question is then, well, does he really want us? What's his attitude? And I hope that John, and I hope that everybody can hear this. There is no one who wants Jesus who ever finds him pushing them away. Mm-hmm. Now, there are people who say they want Jesus, but they don't really. As soon as he messes up their idolatry, as soon as he messes up their control, they want to be in charge of their own life. But Jesus would be he's like a trophy wife. Yeah. Like, I just want my life. I want to do all my things, and I want Jesus to make it look all good. But that's not wanting Jesus. That's not. No. Let me ask you: Did you ever desire to be a trophy wife? Maybe you did. No, because it's like that's ridiculous. That's horrible. That's not me. Yeah. To want Jesus that way is nothing. But there's no one who's wanted Jesus who's ever been turned aside. The only reason we ever want him is because he wanted us first. That's all. The scripture says we love him because he first loved us. If you love him, if you want him, he's already ahead of you.
Even to say, would he let me in, is Absolutely. To say he's already ahead of you. In a sense, like he's
like the father with the prodigal son. He's running down the street to get you. He's been watching for you.
Exactly.
Long before you thought about going home. Mm-hmm. He was waiting for you to come home. Just think about your son or your daughter who's run away, and said horrible things on their way out the door. That, and then at some point they think, I'd like to go back home. Would I be welcome? And the thing is, God is like the Father who said, I haven't stopped looking for you 1 minute since you left. I haven't stopped wanting you to come home. Come home. So there's no one who goes home who finds the door closed. No one. Now in Scripture, there are people who find the door closed and they say, what's going on here? Didn't we do this, this, this? Haven't we done all these good things? And Jesus said, but you know me. It's about loving Jesus. If you love him, he's because he loves you. He's there ahead of you.
Yeah.
He's way ahead.
Yeah.
Is this one of those pauses where we should wait for people to catch up with us?
Maybe we should wait, have a pause. I was thinking about it even back to like the very beginning of what we were saying, unless you were going to go somewhere else with some of it. But I was going to even ask you guys too, like, have you noticed, it's just something that came to my mind, even when I was thinking about it, you said in the beginning, like, have you noticed ways, even through all this last few weeks, that almost you've been surprised how, because of what we've been learning over the years, even what we've been learning at Bethel and what we've been learning in our community about Jesus and the gospel, have you been surprised where you go, normally I'd be mentally broken down, but it's almost surprising me how something in my heart is changing. And I know even John Kay said, like, he was surprised. I think he said a few weeks back, maybe you can remind me, John, about how you were feeling more freedom or feeling more less afraid or something. He said something like that. Like, have you noticed where you're going, wow, like, this has been so hard, and yet I'm surprised. And I was thinking even how I was sharing my story in the beginning of going, those were some really hard days, but I would never trade them. We talked about prison moments a couple weeks ago. And I was chatting with my mom this week, and I said, my kind of joke that I make is that Thursdays were the hardest day of the week for me in weeks past, because it was a day where there was no junior kindergarten, there's no dance class, there's nothing going on in the week for me that I had kind of planned. And it was sometimes a day of getting up, going, okay, what am I doing with my kids? All right, like, I'm a stay-at-home mom. What are we doing? Like, what's this day going to look like? And it was a bit overwhelming for me, if I'm being honest. And if somebody would have told me 3-4 months ago, every day is going to be a Thursday, I would have gone, are you kidding me? Right? And I joke now. I'm like, they're like, how's it going? I'm like, every day is a Thursday. It's just, what day of the week is it? Thursday. But actually, and in that, of course, there's some hard moments here and there. But I was saying to my parents today, I'm surprised, actually, how much joy I feel and how much I'm like, this is okay. And even little things he's showing me, it doesn't mean there's not, kids aren't fighting sometimes. It doesn't mean I'm not stressed sometimes, and there's not, but I'm going, how am I not completely mentally having multiple breakdowns every single day? And Lisa 3-4 years ago would be put me in an institution. I'm not even kidding. That sounds like a joke. I'm not joking. But like, I'm going, but I know it's because of Jesus. And I know it's because of what he is doing in me, and his love, and his, like, the intimacy that I have in him, and what, like, I just know it's him, And so I've just been surprised a little bit by some of those things in this time of hardship, that I go, okay, like, it's just surprised me. And I'm just curious if you guys have noticed any of that in yourselves lately too, where you go, this is hard, and yet everything we've been learning, everything we've been walking through, everything that our hearts have been kind of been marinating in the gospel is almost being, what would the word be? Is
subverted?
Yeah, or these are maybe some fruits that are coming of it in this time, where you are surprised by it, and maybe not, but I don't know. I just am curious if you guys are.
I found yesterday hard. Yesterday was just really, really kind of emotionally difficult, and I found it really, really hard. And at one point, I thought, am I actually gonna break under this? Like, I was thinking, I've been doing all right, and I'm not afraid, and I'm helping, and I haven't lost faith and everything. And but I just had that moment of, am I going to go under? And then I thought, well, no, because just like I said earlier, I once you've seen Jesus, nothing else works. Once you've seen Jesus, nothing else scares you either.
Yeah.
And once you've seen Jesus, nothing else comes with the same weight of anxiety or discouragement or just that it doesn't knock you off kilter. It's like the difference between being hit by a lead ball or being hit by a feather.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, I'm not going to break under this. I still might, because I'm still broken myself. I'm already there.
Yeah.
Right? But and I like that you say it's kind of, you can be surprised and go, whoa, the gospel's actually done something.
Yeah.
God's actually been at work.
Yeah.
What did Paul say? He that hath begun a good work is going to bring it to perfection, to fruition, to completion. He's actually doing that in you, and me, and us. Do you have comments?
John Kay said, my fear has lessened. Yeah, that's a big one. And then John Gray said, I agree with what Tom said before. How
It's always a good thing.
how is there not way more mental health issues?
Yeah.
It's so true.
It's bad enough, but
it
could be so much worse.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think, how does anybody stay sane in this world?
Yeah.
And if they don't have Jesus, I don't really always know.
Yeah.
I don't always know. Way back at the beginning of our conversation, you said you were giving us the 4 years ago when you said this is, people would say treasure the moment, this is living, and you were going, no, it's not. That was one of my questions on Sunday. What is the picture in your head when you say this is living?
Yeah, I had that in my notes too. Yeah,
because whatever did you guys all? What did you guys picture? I'm curious.
I know, actually.
What were some of the pictures that came into your heads?
Yeah.
What were some of the things you thought of?
Type them in. Fill in the blank. This is living. Like just the first thing that popped into your head.
Yeah.
I said that to John. I was like, "What came into your head?" I don't actually know what he said. I think he was like, "Oh, I don't know."
I know what was first thing John's head.
Yeah, you probably do. Yeah. Well, what popped into your head when you asked it to yourself?
Oh, I didn't even think about it. When I would say this is life.
Lauren said water skiing. That's what popped into her head. You know what mine was? This is really weird. It was like, this is not weird, but it was like sitting at this nice restaurant with like an amazing glass of something and like this amazing dinner.
Glass of something.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Some kind of champagne or something. I was like, that was like literally the first thing that popped in my head. I'd be like, this is living. Like just that picture popped into my head. John said, this is living, a brand new Porsche 911. Is that how you say it?
Okay, John, we've heard about your Porsche now.
911? 911? Oh, gosh. And then Karen said, sitting on a tropical beach with a pina colada. Yeah. That too. It's funny what's the first thing that pops into people's heads.
I was reading today how our pictures, what our pictures of heaven are like. Yeah. Because people usually have a picture of heaven and it's like, well, the classic picture is people sitting around on clouds playing harps, which is really ridiculous. And then there's the Philadelphia cream cheese commercial, And we just, actually, usually our pictures of heaven aren't that great. They're just pretty dull, really. But we shouldn't be picturing heaven, and that's for a whole nother conversation because it's not dull at all. But the new earth, and what will you be picturing in the new earth? And so I was reading today this one woman who was writing and saying, I'm trying to survive. I'm playing lots of Jamaican and Caribbean calypso music. And I'm just trying to recall those days. Because she said, when I think about where I'm headed, when I think about what's ahead of me, I'm headed to that beach. I'm headed to that tropical island. I'm headed to those palm trees and mojitos and sunsets. And the truth of it, and then she said, this is really cool. She said, I know that heaven or the new earth is way more than this, but it isn't less. That's actually pretty cool. It
That's
is.
cool.
That's not nearly enough, but it is pretty awesome. But what the more is to be there with Jesus, because that's the other thing that we all do when we think about when you had that picture in the restaurant with the Chablis or the champagne or whatever.
Yeah.
You also were with somebody, weren't you?
Yeah, I don't think I was just sitting there by myself.
No one,
Although,
no
yeah.
one pictures that. They do
Yeah.
maybe later, but
Yeah, yeah.
their fantasy picture is
Yeah.
with this person and being on the beach. Yeah, sometimes it is,
Sometimes it is in solitude.
but you're also thinking, no, I want to be with this person.
Well, Sandy said driving the California coastline on a beautiful sunny day in a convertible, and my dad said Thelma and Louise, Sandy and Shar. So together
Yeah.
with someone.
And the thing is, the thing that makes it cool is we're going to be there with Jesus, the one who loved us and never stopped, the one who made everything right, the one who's making us right and has never stopped loving us, and the one who's full of laughter and joy, the life of the party, the greatest, and we're going to be with him.
Which is so cool because actually, when you said that, when you asked that question, you almost think like, well, I'm not going to say my answer because you feel like it's like bad. You know what I mean? like Lauren doing water skiing. It's like bad answer. Having a glass of wine, bad answer. You know what I mean? It should be sitting with Jesus on a cloud.
Eating cream cheese.
Do you know what I mean? But I actually really like what you said because it's like those aren't bad things. Like we are meant to desire those things. And yet it's to be with him and to be like take all those pictures sitting in a Porsche with Jesus. You know what I mean? Like did somebody say fishing, going fishing or something with Jesus? Like that's what we're to be like is with him and to be, and that's cool because it's kind of a nice picture.
That's why Paul says, for me to live is Christ and to die is gain. And then later, he tells the Corinthians, to depart and be with him is far better. But I'll stay for your sake because I love you too. But one day we're all going to be together. And every place that I can think of that I've ever been, I've thought, this would be so much better if everybody I loved was here and nobody else. If tourists weren't here.
Yeah.
But this would be so much better if everyone I loved was here, and that's where we're headed. I keep looking up there thinking I'm going to see people.
I know.
See everybody who's talking to us. So, all right. Is that a wrap?
I think so. I liked everyone's comments today. They were good. Everyone was a lot more interactive. I appreciate that. Does anybody have any other questions or any other comments that they had from the sermon or anything they wanted to ask or stuff they have been meaning to ask but haven't got a chance yet? We'll just give you guys a minute here if you want to.
I was thinking about what people have. We said, what is life? This is living. What's that picture? Wonder what everybody had. What was your moment? What was the time when you just realized this isn't living? If this is what it is, then I'm out.
Yeah.
You had that moment or series of moments 4 years ago. I remember someone who could write in, or I'm not sure they will, but who could write in, who wrote from their honeymoon and said, this is crap.
Marriage is the...
I thought this was it. I thought everything was just going to be perfect from this moment forward. And now here I am carrying groceries and doing laundry, and this is it. Yeah. And kids, and the moment you get that diploma, or the moment you get that recognition, you get the gold watch, you get the certificate, you get the new job, whatever. What were some of your moments? What did you experience where you go, if I don't have Jesus, this is crap?
And do you think you have to get there? While people are write us those things while we're talking about this, and we'll say them. Do you think you have to get there to kind of Do you know what I mean?
I don't know
Like,
if people would really want Jesus if they thought that
I
they didn't
know,
need him.
I know, because that's like that point that you kind of hit that wall and you go, I wanted this for so long or whatever, and I got it, and you know what I mean? Like that's such a that's usually even in counseling ministry is sitting with people going, I finally got this, and why isn't it? You know?
That's what you hear coming out of Hollywood so often.
Yeah.
I made it, and
Yeah.
it was death.
Yeah.
Why would we want Jesus? As long as we're convinced that our life is perfect, fine, good. I remember trying to talk to people in a town down in Georgia. It was a beautiful town. I think it was called, Kathy would know. I think it was called Peachtree City. So like it was just beautiful. It was perfect, and golf course paths, and
Yeah.
there's no traffic, and beautiful homes and everything. And the one guy that I talked to, he said, "I live in the best place on earth. I have a perfect family." He says, "I'm in perfect health. I work out." He said, "I'm not going to get sick. I'm not going to die. I'm
Not
everything is
gonna die?
perfect." No,
Oh.
he believed that
Oh jeez.
he was, because the way he treated his body was
Right.
perfect. The way he said, "I got a perfect job, I got a perfect family, I got a perfect house, I'm in perfect health, and I'm planning on changing any of that." That was 40 years ago. I'm kind of guessing that probably some of that has changed. A friend of mine once told me something similar, and that was before his first marriage broke up, and he went on to four more. Yeah, things break. Has anyone written in?
Not yet.
Okay,
Nobody?
nobody. Well, they took your compliment that had great interaction.
I know. Maybe that was too intense of a question for people to type in.
All right.
It still says there's 10 people on unless people are
Well, we've hit our
doing
time,
off.
or close to our time. No, I guess we haven't. We still got a minute or a few minutes, but we can call it. Thank you, Lisa, for partnering with me or letting me. I was just glad you let me come back after last week.
Yeah, it's always enjoyable to do this. Thank you to all of our viewers.
Studio audience have been great.
for
Thanks for hanging
joining
in with us.
Yeah, it's really fun to do this. I enjoy it a lot.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope it's worthwhile. And it seems like we get lots of take up, a lot of people watching. Not necessarily right now, but the video, the recordings get taken up quite well.
Yeah, they do.
So, all right. Well, Bethel, I'll maybe see some of you tomorrow. Don't forget Sunday. Come with something to share if you can. Look on Slack for a little bit more info about that. And we'll see you soon. Love you.
Thanks, guys.